Welcome to the Kindness Project, the podcast designed to share stories of kindness and share how kindness can make positive change in our world, one small act at a time.
This time on the Kindness Project, learning Welsh and Welsh, Wacky Accents, and we have part one of our interview with Deana Gao.
Good evening, afternoon or morning, whenever you're listening to this. Welcome to the Kindness Project. I am joined by a girl who, halfway through studying for her final GCSE exams, has decided to learn Welsh. It's Charlotte Dames.
Aw, thanks. And I'm joined by a man who thinks he should live in a house of games. It's Chris Dames.
Love a bit of House of Games.
I feel like I've mentioned it before.
Yeah, but no, House of Games is my favourite. Tell us about Welsh though, because I know that you're... What does the phrase "wheat hoffy coffee" mean? Does it mean anything?
It means like coffee.
Oh, hoffy coffee.
So it's like if I were to say dwi in hoffy coffee, it means I like coffee.
So what's the dwi in bit?
I. Well, the dwi in hoffy is the whole phrase of I like.
All right, dwi in hoffy.
Yeah, and then you just put what you like
I've been
after
chucked out places for dwiing all over the place, but now
No,
it seems that it's okay.
It's dwi in hoffy, coffee, tea,
I normally-
lights,
I normally-
I can't remember how to say beer in Welsh. Selsig,
Selsig.
it means sausage. Peace.
So if I said dwil, dwil hoffy Selsig, that means I like sausages. Yeah. Love it.
I know, right? It's so cool.
Teach me some more Welsh.
Okay, so like, bore da means good morning.
Bore da.
Good morning. Nosta means good night.
Nosta.
And Pronwynda, I'm probably messing up the pronunciation, means good afternoon.
From Winda.
Pronwynda. So you can pick out the key bit as da, which is good.
What does hoffy mean on its own?
Like.
Like.
But I don't know if it works without the rest of the phrase, so I wouldn't want to teach you. I also know the word for dragon.
Go on.
Draig. But it's spelled D-R...
Draig.
Yeah, you gotta roll the D.
It sounds a bit Game of Thrones.
Brilliant.
Draig.
Because I'm learning on Duolingo, and you can actually learn languages like that aren't real, like Klingon, and High Valerian.
High Valerian or even Welsh.
Welsh is a real language. It just happens to be one that's fading from existence.
Years ago, I mean, I'm going back when you were an actual...
Mind the step.
When you were an actual child, instead of a young woman, when we took our first ever joint trip to Wales, because I got tickets to the Olympic football in 2012, and we took a trip to Cardiff, and one of our little things driving along was trying to translate all the Welsh signs.
And we went into a cafe and we looked at the Welsh and we couldn't figure it out, and it was just mind the step. We spent like 10 minutes sitting there staring at it.
I wonder what that really exotic sign means. Mindless step. Oh, all right, no worries. And that brings us on to the... so why Welsh? No, why Welsh?
Because I heard someone say the Welsh word for angel as a term of endearment in a show I watched, and I was like, I wonder what, and it was like, it sounded really nice.
What's the Welsh word for angel?
It's spelt the same, but it said like Ainel.
And it sounded really nice, did it?
Yeah, because I'm not good at pronunciation. But it's spelled,
Ainel.
but it's spelled A-I... Well, it's spelled the same way, but in a pronunciation way, it's spelled A-I-N-E-L.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Welsh accent. The Welsh accent is a lovely accent. And
I
very...
think it's such a shame that the language is just not being taught to Welsh kids.
But that's like Gaelic, isn't it? That's like a lot of...
That's really unfortunate as well, and I'm thinking about learning that one after Welsh.
Yeah.
I'll get Welsh down.
Can you not learn Mandarin, like something actually useful? Or after I've learned Welsh and Gaelic, I'm going to learn Klingon.
You watch, when the Welsh time travellers come from the past, I'm going to be the one who can talk to them.
Of course you are, mate, of course you are. But that brings me on to my to this week's question in the podcast, which is... What is your most favourite and least favourite accent? And I like tuneful accents. So I like Welsh because it's very like melodious.
Yeah.
And I like Liverpudlian because it's very melodious.
We can't let him do accents in this house because if they were on TV, they'd just offend someone. Because they would. They would just.
I'm not great at accents. I mean, I can do Birmingham, I think. And I can do.
You make the people of Birmingham sound miserable.
Do I really?
Yeah, you do. You make him sound like that guy Big from Big and Small, and he just constantly talked like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Was he from Birmingham? What accent
He
do
was
you...
from CBeebies, but
He was from the land of CBeebies, where Justin Fletcher and Mr. Tumble, the same bloke, are king. Just about the land of CBeebies. Would Mr. Tumble be king?
No,
of that?
it would be Dodger Dog.
Dodger Dog. I reckon.
No, Dodger Dog is CBBC.
Oh, is it? All right, okay.
Yeah, I got them mixed up.
Oh, fair enough.
I used to watch both of them.
Okay, fair enough. So, we'd like to know what your most favourite and least favourite accent is. What's your most favourite and least favourite accent?
I like hearing Scottish.
Scotland. Yeah, go on.
And ones I don't like hearing. German just always sounds a bit aggressive.
German. Yeah, but the German people, I don't know that many not nice German people.
I know, but their language just sounds aggressive.
Yes.
I always feel like they're having a go at me, even if they're not. Like,
Hello, how are you? All right, mate, calm down.
did I do something wrong? I'm sorry.
So, my friends, we'd like to hear about what your most favourite and least favourite accent are, and you can get in touch with us on the following channels.
Oh, do you want me to do it? Right.
Please.
Twitter, @OlaKindness. Facebook, The Kindness Project in the search bar. We pop right up. It's really magic. Like,
Yeah, because we're a bit...
those
popular
Welsh
now,
time
aren't we?
travellers don't know nothing about this popping up on the internet thingy.
Sorry, if you... On them Welsh travellers coming back...
Coming forwards.
Coming forward. What... Coming forward from where? Where are these Welsh time travellers coming from?
The past.
Torchwood.
No, from a time when Welsh was spoken by all the Welsh people.
And they suddenly found a time machine they didn't know about.
Yeah.
Why the Welsh?
I don't know.
I don't, the world has gone mad. Right.
Just imagine these really confused Welshmen stepping out of this pod that they thought was just like
A toilet.
a toilet.
They've gone into a public toilet and walked out into 2020
And no one knows Welsh.
into a school in the East London / Essex borders, and suddenly they bump into this girl. She goes, "Coffee, coffee."
No, I'd go Charlotte Dwi I, because that means I am Charlotte.
Okay, Charlotte, do we? Okay, fair enough.
And then they'd
How would you
introduce
know they're
themselves.
Welsh?
I wouldn't. I'd just wait for them to speak, and then I'd be like, "Oh, I know. I heard that man say Hoffy. Oh yeah."
Well, where are you when these Welsh time travellers come from another
I
place?
don't know.
Tell us about Facebook. It's getting too confusing.
Welsh time travellers. I did Facebook. Google us. Yeah, we're pretty famous apparently.
Bit. Or you can find us at www.thekindnessproject.co.uk. Can I just put one request out? And we're going to be pretty busy for the remainder of the year with interviews. But if you know somebody who is frankly a bit amazing and we would like to share their story of doing amazing stuff on the podcast, particularly if they're helping other people, let us know, because we'd love to share their story.
Yes, also if you know any Welsh time travellers, because I need some contact with those Welsh time travellers.
Because we need to coffee with them, or whatever that is.
Okay.
Should we get them on the show?
Yup.
So, on this episode of Good News
Corner.
which we still haven't got a good trailer for, have we? I want to talk about a smelly fruit because I read an article the other day on goodnewsnetwork.org.
I follow him on Instagram.
And the title, Smelly Fruit or goodnewsnetwork.org?
I think it's goodnewsnetwork.org. I follow an Instagram account called Good News Sub.
And it says, world's smelliest fruit could charge your mobile phone in exceptional way. Imagine if we could use naturally grown products like plants and fruit to store the electricity that charges common use electronics such as mobile phones, tablets, laptops and even electric cars. Researchers from the University of Sydney have done just that by developing a method that uses durian and jackfruit waste to create energy stores for rapid electricity charging. School of Chemical and Biomolecular Engineering academic, Associate Professor Vincent Gomez, explains how he and the research team managed to turn their tropical fruits into supercapacitors. Their findings were published in this week's Journal of Energy Science. Using durian and jackfruit purchased from a market, we converted the biomass from the fruits into supercapacitors that can be used to store electricity efficiently.
Oh, that's clever, isn't it?
That is clever. And the thing is as well, like, these sort of innovations are going to lead us to a greener world, potentially. I mean, frankly, nobody wants to eat a jackfruit. It looks like the most awful fruit in the world.
Oh, yeah, there might be a monkey in a tree somewhere.
It might be.
You know what? This could lead to stuff like, like portable medicine. Like, those machines that, the blood machines, and when people are stuck on like islands, they have to use like electricity from like trucks or the transport, but that could drain the transport, and that would be disastrous because they'd be stranded with someone injured. But they could use stuff like this instead of, You
know what? I mean, what it shows me is the depths of human ingenuity, because we seem to be capable of doing a lot, and we need. I think in the next few decades, with climate change looming on the horizon, we need to be more focused on finding more innovative solutions to problems. So it's interesting that we can use this to help us.
I think
when they talked about what the technology could be used for, the scientist said, we have reached a point where we must urgently discover and produce ways to create and store energy using sustainably sourced materials that do not contribute to global warming. Confronted with this and the world's rapidly depleting supplies of fossil fuels, naturally derived supercapacitors are leading the way for developing high efficiency energy storage devices. It's brilliant news, isn't it? Yeah. And that is good news for next. Yeah, good news corner for this week. So this week we've got the first part of our interview with Deana Gao. Deana's from China, funnily enough, and she has got a scheme that helps Chinese people not learn Welsh but learn English, because she's a bit more practical, and also combat loneliness, and it's a genius idea. Should we hear all about it?
Go on then.
Hi, thanks for joining us so much, Deana. Now, I can't pronounce your westernised name, clearly. Because you've got a Chinese name that you've just told me is even more difficult to pronounce. What's that?
It's Gao Chong.
Definitely not trying that one.
Last time chose the westernized name, so to make your life easier.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you doing that. My pronunciations aren't great at the best of times, so thanks for making my life easier. Thanks for coming on. Before we start talking about the things that you're on to talk about, tell me about your love of baking.
Love baking. Oh, okay. So in the past few weeks, I started to bake my own breakfast.
Okay.
So every morning I do this morning ritual. I bake my own coffee with the Italian mocha cup. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
Italian mocha pot. and I do 1 or 2 pieces of my banana cake, which I baked a few days before. My recipe is 1 banana, few almonds, few walnuts, and between 5 to 7 eggs.
Okay.
Milk. Milk and sesame seed and wheat. So I bake for 40 minutes for 220 degrees.
Amazing.
And 20 minutes.
And how do you serve? Do you serve the cake with just on its own, or with something else, or butter, or what do you have with it?
I have it with honey.
Honey.
A little bit of honey.
Drizzled on. Oh, this is sounding amazing. What's the post like between China and where I am? Because I'm not saying you should send me some, but if you would, that'd be really nice. It might be a bit.
Post, but I'm not sure the postman are okay with that.
Exactly. It might be a bit dry by the time it gets here as well. So apart from this is the other thing I was going to mention, because before we started talking on recording on the podcast, I mentioned a show called The Great British Bake Off, which we have in the UK. If you love baking, it's amazing, and we'll talk a little bit about baking later on, but we're not here to talk about baking, we're here to talk about the amazing work you do. So tell me a little bit about you.
Okay, well, I am Deana, and I'm going to try my Chinese name to you again, so maybe you'll pronounce it by the end of this show. It's Gao Chong, and
I was gonna try that. Gao Chong. How's that? Not good.
Really very good. So thank you very much. I will try not to.
I thought I'd make the effort.
Yeah. So I was born and raised in Chengdu, China, which is southwest of China, a up and rising tech city in China.
Okay.
And so what else? I studied journalism.
Okay.
And I used to work in the radio for a few years, just coincidentally. And
was that in China or was that internationally?
Sorry?
Was that in China or was that internationally?
Internationally.
Okay.
I traveled over 50 countries.
Okay.
And last year, I actually spent 4 months traveling around China. I took a road trip for 4 months all around China.
Amazing.
Last year. And I am a serial entrepreneur. I have 4 companies, and 3 of them are still up running.
Okay.
What else? I'm still a student, by the way.
Okay.
I am a global executive MBA student from LSE London, NYU New York, and HEC Paris.
Okay.
And that's it. That's it. And also, fun fact. Besides all that, I love mimicking accents. So I was in London a few months ago, and I picked up some really bizarre London accent. So I would probably drop in some of.
Oh, please do. Right, so let me ask you a question. As you can probably tell, I'm from the east end of London originally. I live out in Essex now, but I'm from the east end in London. Do you know the concept of Cockney rhyming slang? Have you ever heard that?
I've heard of this one where it's a secret kind of language where you do some apple pear or something.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, that's absolutely right. And I was, weirdly, we were talking about on the podcast the other day. I tell you what, you share with me your London accent and I will share with you some really good Cockney rhyming slang. And then
it's either going to go really well or going to be really, really bad.
Probably really bad, but we're going to give it a go anyway. Let's try it. So we'll do that a bit later in the podcast. But tell me, because the reason that I thought it'd be good to have you on is a project you run called the Air Tulip Project. Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, so this is really where my passion is right now. As you can see, I get really excited.
I know, I can see you getting excited now.
So it is a project as I have been developing in the past probably 5-6 years. it's been in my mind for the past 6 years.
Okay.
But I only started to develop it for real last year,
Okay.
a year and a half ago. And this project is a platform to connect retired, isolated senior citizens from the US, UK, and Australia with adult English students from China, Japan, and Korea.
Okay.
So the purpose of this platform is that I want to build a bridge to bridge these two groups of people, especially for retired senior citizens in the West, because traditionally and culturally, most of seniors live at home, especially the baby boomer and all the aging problems happening all over the world.
Yep.
Lots of seniors are isolated, and especially in US, UK, Australia, seniors, as I said, they live alone in their own house, in their own home, like in rural areas or even in city areas, but they get really lonely.
Yep.
And if they get lonely, it's really easy to cause depression or other problems like Alzheimer or any other physical problems. So the simple way of doing this is to have people to talk to on a daily basis or on a regular basis, instead of just with families or friends. Maybe family and friends are too busy or they're not there all the time. And because I actually did a volunteer for a senior care home in San Francisco while I was there.
Okay.
So my job was really to go to this senior care center to help a friendship line department to call those retired senior citizens to keep them company, to talk to them. And we just talk about random stuff like what is the name of your cat, what's the name of your street, and all that stuff. It's nothing serious or nothing like intellectual.
That company, just giving somebody time, right? Giving somebody the time and attention. You're right. I mean, in the UK particularly, there's a number of campaigns that are going on to counteract loneliness, and there's one by Age UK, which is the main charity. So it's like a befriending service. And interestingly, we interviewed somebody who was on that program, and they said that as a volunteer of time, they got as much out of it as the actually older person did, because they made a new friend. Do you know what I mean? The relationship built over time. Do you find that tends to happen with the volunteers that come on?
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
So
in Age UK, they have volunteers?
So in Age UK, they have volunteers. We interviewed somebody who volunteered for Age UK on a previous podcast, and they said actually they benefited from it a lot as well, because they made friends. They befriended this elderly person who they actually shared a lot in common with. Do you find that people build relationships and make new friends when they do it through your service?
We do, and I remember the first call. It was very, very a vivid memory for me, because that was a year ago when I first built this program, and I wanted to test. I want to see, I have this fantasy that seniors want to talk, students in China want to talk. I'll tackle the students part and on why they want to get involved. But I didn't know, will they really be willing to just talk to a stranger, especially a stranger with such an age gap? Because, I think before this age gap, there's also some generation gap, some culture gap, or something. I don't know if the conversation will go really well.
Yep.
And so I just randomly selected one of the senior and one of the students, and I would say, okay, I want to run a test and I want to listen to your conversation.
Okay.
They were like, yeah, of course. And these two don't know each other. They don't know anything about each other. I just said, there's a senior in Los Angeles. Her name is I can't say her name. Her name is Lucy. And there's a Chinese student. Her name is Lee. I want you guys to talk and to test my theory to prove that this is the platform that worth building. So I connected them via Skype, because at that time our platform is still under construction.
Okay.
So they started talking, like within 1 or 2 minutes. I lost track on time. I feel like we've been knowing each other for a long time.
Yeah.
Talking about Disney movies, they're talking about Disney characters, they're talking about cats and something. I was just like 20 minutes went by so fast, and by end of it, they just wanted to because the program was designed to only talk for 20 minutes because I don't want both sides to lose concentration and get dragged on. So I only want them to talk for 20 minutes, and I told them so. By the end of it, they were like, "Oh God, the time goes." I want to keep going.
Yeah.
And then I was so happy because I was not talking, but I was listening in the whole time, and really feel like they build up this bond about sharing the love for the Disney movies. I love Disney movies too, so that was like
So you were enjoying it as well. And what do you do in terms of matching people in America or the UK to students? Do you find shared interest, like for example Disney movies, and say how do you do that? Is there talk me through the process of matching? How does that work?
Okay, that's a really good question. I'm glad you asked. So for now, the project is still in a very early stage, and we don't have a large base of users now. So what we do is we selected 15 hobbies. When seniors register, they will select 15 a few hobbies out of 15 hobbies.
Yep.
So they'll put a label, and so once they register, the data will go to our system, and then student side will see the label on each senior's profile, and then they will be able to choose which one they want to talk to. I mean, that's the stage 2.0 of this version of the platform, which is go more deeper on each of the category hobby, and we're also developing the curriculum on the student side to guide them to talk to seniors. So those will be baked into the future development of the program.
Yeah. So you're going to go into more depth about what they're looking for. And how do you recruit students and reach out to older people? How do you build that and develop that user base?
Students really easy to find nowadays. I was just about to tackle that because the reason I told you the reason of senior, which is my initial goal of helping seniors.
Yeah.
But also the reason I know this works is because in Asia countries, especially in East Asia countries, in China, Japan, and South Korea, we do have English classes at school since primary school, since we were like 6, 7, but we do not have the environment of talking, of speaking with real foreigners.
Yes.
English.
Yeah.
It's so weird for us to hey, how's it going? We don't really have that conversation.
Yeah, it's the informal stuff, isn't it? It's the dialect stuff, and yeah,
it's very academic. So I don't know if you've ever heard this joke that when Chinese students goes to the UK, they're always just saying those phrases over and over. They study from the textbook. So when they face the real person, they don't know how to interact.
Yeah.
And when you say when you ask me how are you, I'm like, oh, I'm fine, thank you, and you. But if you ask me other ways, like how you doing, I'm like, what? Most of students face, and lots of students pay a fortune to hire private tutors, to hire private language buddy, to go to English corners, and to go to do things to improve their oral English.
So to add the non-academic English, right? The colloquial English. Yeah, okay.
Yes. So I did lots of market research, and even lots of those platforms they go to, even they say, oh, we're trying to teach you speaking English, but they're still very academic. They're still like, oh, you need to follow this. When you say I am going to, means you need to say he is going, you know what I mean? It's just really academic about how to structure the sentence, how to use this word, how to use that.
But language in real life is different, isn't it? Language in real life is just communicated differently. Yeah.
Exactly, and teachers are trained to give you those academic responses. So that's why students want to have a real environment to practice. So that's why the students are very happy to always look for new channels to study English.
Yeah.
And also the way we promote this is learning English for impact.
Yeah.
So when more people like what we do, yes, there are millions of English learning study platforms out there. If you feel like you want to do those like academic ones, go ahead. This good. They will help you memorize your
but this isn't that. This is talking to real people, isn't it?
And that's great. But if you want to learn English as well as learn real culture, as well as helping seniors to beat the loneliness, this is the way to go. And I think now, I used to think now the young people are pretty wasted. I think for lots of older people, we do also always think younger people are not as good as us. That's just by default. But now, since I started running this program, like, these people are they really have the heart. They really get it. They really echo with our value that we're trying to promote.
Yeah, you know what's interesting, because I run a business as well, and certainly I know you do. One of the values in our business is do well, do good. So there's no, there's no like making a profit, making money doesn't mean that you can't actually contribute positively to the world, and actually those two things should go hand in hand, shouldn't they? And I think that's super important. Help me, so that's students are relatively easy because they want that connection to just real language. You know what? It's really interesting. It's really interesting. I think sometimes English language speakers can be super arrogant. I mean, I think English speakers assume that everybody should speak English, and in reality, we're just lazy, right? We're just like, and I've got to applaud you for speaking English, because if you asked me about a Chinese colloquialism, I wouldn't have a clue. And you know about Cockney rhyming slang, that's just amazing. So,
I don't know everything, but I say English as a survival skill. So if you can't use English for your survival to talk to people,
true.
To show how to do things. I think it's really a tool that need to in a real scenario and real situation.
Yeah, it was interesting. When I was in Japan last year, I relied quite a lot on Google Translate, and I was in a taxi in Kyoto, driving around, and started to use Google Translate, and the guy just stopped me and said, "Actually, my English is probably better." So we had again, and I felt so embarrassed. Anyway, so how do you get elderly people to engage?
So for now, we are trying to do two channels.
Okay.
One is we try to engage young people. So we try to engage the millennials, like the grandchildren of the seniors, or the children of the seniors, because I think they really do understand what's going on, because they don't. I mean, as a daughter, as a granddaughter, I know I do not have time to call my dad every day.
Yep.
I don't have time to call my grandparents every day.
Yep.
And I feel guilty about it. And I know I should have doing that more. So so it's the common feel for lots of young people. And whenever we deliver this kind of message to them, they really get it right away. My grandparents can benefit from this. My father can benefit from this. So this is one way we try to engage young people to do this. One is recruiting the seniors, and other one is really bring awareness to these group of people as well.
Okay.
And second way is we are trying to build ties and partnerships with some organizations from US, UK, and Australia.
Yep.
So I got a representative both in the UK, US, and Australia. So they're helping us to go to the senior care centers or senior organizations or hospitals or any organization that is involved into this kind of senior.
Gotcha.
Presenting our project to them and to get them on board. So I hope both both ways go well, and I think I do want to bring more awareness on people, not just for the for people to use the platform, but to also encourage them to like call the grandparents, call the parents more often, and really to acknowledge that parents are out there and the grandparents are out there. They need you to talk to them.
Yeah. So that's the first part of Deana's interview.
Yes.
Shall we get on with the show?
Yours. 'Tis the end of another podcast.
Tis surely the end. However, we have got loads and loads and loads of suggestions for last week's question in the podcast,
which was
what is the weird food combinations you actually like? And we had a decent number, so we're going to tell you a little bit about them. So last week's question in the podcast was weird food combinations, and for this one we've invited a special guest judge of the weird food combinations on, and it's little Miss Sophie Dames.
Charlotte keeps poking me.
Holding your hand.
She was poking me before.
Do you want to say hello to our audience?
Hello.
And you're going to help us work out what combinations are truly weird, what are just a little bit weird, and what are amazingly weird. But before we do that, what's the weirdest food combination you've eaten?
Don't really eat that many weird foods.
Okay, fair
I
enough.
thought you were going to say I don't eat that much food. Then I was going to be like, that's all the way you wolf down your dinner.
All right, food judge. What's the weirdest food combination you've had?
I don't know. I just eat, really.
I don't worry. I'll just put it in my mouth. Right. So, who's going to be right? How are we going to judge these weird food combinations? Are we going to give it a mark out of 10?
Yes. 10 being...
No, 10 being the most weird ever.
Okay.
1 being...
Quite normal, really.
And 0 being... It's just normal.
It's just normal. Right, here we go. First, we've got tuna, mayonnaise and cheese.
Oh, yes, please.
Yes, please. I think tuna, mayo and cheese is pretty good.
It's pretty tame.
Pretty good.
It's pretty...
5? As much as a 5?
Pretty tame. It's like a 1 or a 2.
I reckon it's a 2.
Yeah, it's pretty tame.
Andrew Berwick, chips dipped in milkshake.
Oh, yeah, 10.
No, that's pretty...
No,
One.
That's very common, especially among pregnant women.
Is it really? What's that?
I don't know, something about the sweet and the saltiness together.
Oh, cool. I'm going to give it a 6. Well, that comment was made by Andrew Berwick, who, as a man, I don't think he's pregnant. He might be, I don't know. But,
Good for you. You've discovered a new form of science.
Yeah,
male pregnancy.
Well done, Andrew. If you're pregnant, let us know. Jessica Clark said bacon razzle crisps in chocolate spread.
10.
10.
That is
Yeah.
weird.
No, 10.
10.
Tamsin Kane said, I hear that cheese and ketchup sandwiches are quite strange. Yeah, they are. Don't put ketchup in a sandwich. Put it in a burger.
Oh, no. The only ketchup sandwiches I have are heated corned beef toasties with ketchup.
5, at least.
Hazel Gray said cheese savouries and gummy bears. Now, that is a weird
What is a
combination.
cheese savoury?
I think it's like I don't know, actually. I don't know what a cheese
Probably
savoury
like
is.
I'm Googling it.
cheese cracker.
Yeah.
Googling it.
Probably.
Google a cheese savoury. The next one from Mark Newman's really weird. Double cream on Frosties. No! You use milk, man!
Oh,
Not double cream. Double cream is way too thick.
cheese what?
Frosties.
Savouries. John
Savouries.
Sharman said a sausage sandwich with brown sauce
And
mayonnaise.
Yeah, do it.
He reckons, John Sharman reckons
Mate, that's pretty tame.
this will change your life.
That's pretty tame. This is what a cheese savoury is.
yes.
Oh, it's like a what's it thing?
No, it's them.
Like a cheese cracker
Oh,
with a gummy bear.
Yeah.
With the little crackers, the little shaped crackers.
Fair enough. Heidi Ball says Monster Munch on toast, and I also vaguely remember cheese and strawberry jam sandwiches. Oh God!
The first one sounds pretty good. I've always been a
Second one is like a 9.
Andrew Berwick back again. I don't know if pregnant women eat this as well, but banana sandwich on brown bread. Now that to me isn't weird at all.
That's a normal people comfort food.
A banana sandwich on any bread, maybe rye bread's the best. No, banana sandwich on fruit bread. Oh yes, please.
That's the kind of thing you make your children when they're ill.
Yeah, go on.
Like 5.
Benjamin Fox said peanut butter and Marmite. I thought it was strange till Marmite brought out a new product. Peanut butter Marmite.
I don't like Marmite, so I'm not going to touch Marmite. Melissa Lewis reckons grapes and spinach go well together.
Good on ya.
It looks weird, but makes sense.
Everyone does something weird with their grapes. I like to freeze mine.
What do you mean everybody? Don't cast aspersions on how I eat grapes. Thank you very much. How do you eat your grapes?
I just eat them.
Yeah.
Weird.
I do something normal, like chucking 400 foot in the air and try and catch them with my mouth.
I freeze mine.
Amanda Pike said tomato sauce and cucumber sandwiches. Tomato sauce.
Do it.
Sometimes I dip my cucumbers in ketchup, so that's pretty normal for me.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
You just love ketchup with everything.
Carol Staunton said Philadelphia and banana on Rivita. Patrick Floyd said Marmite and peanut butter on toast. Mandy Medlock said tomato soup with crushed up cheese and onion crisps mixed in. Sarah Robinson's gone really weird.
What's she gone?
Chili con carne with salad cream.
Oh, yeah.
And Johnny Piper says cheese and chocolate spread, toasties. Apparently that's good. So what is the winner out of all of them?
Some of them were...
like the weirdest?
Yeah. What do you reckon?
Some of them were really tame. Like milkshakes and shake and chips, that is a infamous pregnancy thing.
Yeah.
If you've seen any good teen flicks, they've got milkshake and chips.
I don't...
I think it's... No.
Go on, what was you going to say? I'm thinking Melissa Lewis with grapes and spinach.
Cheese and strawberry jam sandwiches.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Anyway, we had loads of amazing comments. Thank you for your comments. That's it for this week.
Yep.
Thank you, my 2 lovely daughters, for their input.
You're welcome.
And we'll see you next week. Say bye.
Bye.